Welcome back to Day 2 of the North American LCS Summer Promotion Tournament. Game 3 is coming up in a minute. Renegades are already up 2-0. They were one game away from rejoining the LCS. Of course, they had two very dominant games over Team Dragonites just now.
Yeah, they really did. And one thing we do have to note is another substitution is coming in. RF Legendary for Flares. So Flares was 7,000 goal behind Seraph in the last game. This is what substitutes are for, right? You have a player who underperformed in one game. You switch it out. You try and start something different. RF Legendary spent a fair bit of the split on Renegades, but he went over to TDK in the trade that happened. Two top laners for Seraph, essentially, and a mid lane trade between the teams. And now, you know, it's really do or die. They're putting in their 7th player of the series. They've played against 10 different champions from the other side. Yeah. Like, they're just trying to change the matchup in as many ways as possible to try and get something to work.
And to their credit, the changes have worked. And the one change we saw when Bishu came in for Trance, OQ went equal in lane and ended the game like 5-0-3. Like, that's a good thing. If RF can do the same thing here and hold up with Seraph, now this is a winnable game, absolutely. And that reverse sweep can totally happen. RF coming with motivation. Okay, look, he's got to win 3 straight. He can only go 3-0, or he's, you know, the team is out and waiting for tomorrow's match. But the chance is definitely there. I do have some belief that TDK can pull this out with this lineup. We'll see if it can happen. Also, to talk about this a little bit, Renegades are, of course, on the cusp of rejoining the LCS. Let's hear what Freeze had to say on what that means for the team.
For us, it's very important since it's another chance for us to redeem ourselves and show people that we can actually come back from a slump we had in the early stage of the split and show that we're worth being in LCS.
Yeah, and something about Freeze throughout the whole split is he has had unwavering confidence. Yeah. Even when they were like 1-5, I remember he had a week 3 teaser because he was talking a bunch of trash, being like, I'm the best AD carry around, you know, I always win my lane, we can win, we just got to take this. And every single game he'd go into, he would expect to win, even when the results weren't painting it that way.
Right.
Now they had the late season trade, Seraph and Crumbs have worked very well together. They seem like a top lane focused team who's getting advantage at the top lane. And that is exactly where Freeze wants to be because he's able to create his own advantages, and it means Renegades is winning all over the map.
Yeah, and Freeze has been very good to his credit all year long. He's definitely been one of the best players in North America, especially for how badly Renegades was doing for most of the year. We'll see how much more can be salvaged now with this one. Renegades could make it 3-0. We are switching sides, though. This is, of course, on the 3rd game where Renegades had chosen to play red before the day ever started.
Yeah, and I just have to note we have a slight production error here. The bans are not displaying, so I'm going to tell you guys at home what the bans are. TDK has banned Graves and Rise thus far, and there's been a Poppy ban on the side of Renegades. They're about to go towards ban 2, and it is a Bard.
Okay, so Poppy, Bard banned by red team, Graves, Rise banned by blue team. You can see that with Flares off the lineup, there's no attempt at playing Rise themselves. I mean, Alex could play, but either way, they've banned it themselves. The Graves still not being allowed for Seraph in all 3 games. No surprise there. And you can see what's interesting is the Renegades early pick on Bard they had back in Game 2. They've now banned it themselves, again, respecting the fact that Bishu is a good Bard player. One of the few supports he is very efficient on. So you're seeing Renegades use picks and bans kind of interchangeably to deny things. The final ban comes through for Team Dragonites, and that is Azir being banned out, although looks like we had Champ Select end a second ago, so
yeah,
we'll have Champ Select remade in a minute.
Yeah. Dropped it at Champion Select, so the bans that stand, the Azir one hasn't counted because I believe the teams were being messaged that they needed to remake Champ Select, but the first 4 bans in Champion Select will remain the same, so Graves, Rise on one side, Poppy Bard on the other, and we should be getting back into Champion Select as soon as possible.
Yeah, players are refilling back into the lobby, getting back into the order, and we'll start it in about 5 seconds, I'll say. Yeah. We'll get ourselves back into Champ Select.
2,
3, 4. Oh, you're making me a liar. Look, they're all in the game, just waiting for QA to be like, yeah, just hit that start button. So I blame RF Legendary. Yeah. You know, he's you know, new to the stage again.
He got ready really fast, by the way.
So
the players have a certain amount of time they're allowed to warm up when they get substituted in. And RF came in, he's been sitting in the stands watching. He jumps on his computer, maybe plays for about a minute, says, yeah, I'm ready.
To be fair, he did play like 14 games already this season, like on stage in the first place. Like, yeah, just feels like old times.
Yeah.
You know, our team is losing a bunch of games. Now it's time to start winning a few. Definitely can be a possibility here. And, okay, and it's well past 5 seconds, so now I'm just all kinds of wrong here. But, yeah, I do want to see how the adaptations continue. So far, I have liked Renegade's drafts a decent amount. Game 2 is kind of weird, but at least it was sort of intimidating.
Yeah, exactly. The thing about Renegade's Game 2 draft is, while we're going through, we're like, what is Renegades doing? Not because their picks were bad, but because their picks in Game 1 worked so well.
Right.
And it's very rare that you go away from
you can just pick Echo again.
Working. If it's not broken, don't fix it, is normally the saying. But for Renegades, if it's not broken, still do something else
Just
because it's cool
upgrade
to
it.
do multiple things, apparently.
You know, that lineup of champions was 40 minutes old. Let's get the new version. Let's patch it up. Let's make sure the drivers are up to date, and we'll pick new champion in this one. Yeah, so the head ref's talking to the players. Yeah, there was a bug with the spectators. Sorry, guys. The first 4 bans will still stand, which is the Graves, the Rise, the Poppy, the Bard. And now he's going to tell them to get back onto this one. So Seraph said NA camera because there was the bug with the stuff. So I'm glad we've still got the smack top coming in. Although Seraph counts as NA basically now. So I don't know
he's
what
NA resident, so...
Yeah, NA top laner Seraph at this point, honestly, as far as the legality of it goes. And Champs League will be resuming shortly as the refs told them what the bans are. We will maybe see that Azir change. We don't know right now, but
the important thing is we're not committing to a number of seconds before champion select
yeah,
goes in.
that's the important thing.
You know, we learn from our mistakes here when we say unfortunate things. But no, really, I'm wondering what the final 2 bans are going to be because it's going to be a little bit different. We have Renegades already switching up their bans again with a Bard ban.
Yeah, it was a Bishu specific. They picked it second round blue side to get it away from Bishu, and then banned it here in this game because that's the target ban, right? That's the respect ban, or at least the steal away. They thought Hakaho could play it well. He did fine on it, but they don't think that they could get away with taking it first round red side here, and they know it's not first pick worthy. Like they're not going to rush it that early, but if they can't get away first picking it red side, that it would go over to Bishu as a pretty easy pick second round blue side, and yeah, that was sort of what the ban was worth. That this is where you'd probably get it in the rotation. We'd rather contest other things with our first 2 picks, and that to me actually marks a good ban. It's a ban that you know you wouldn't be able to contest, that you don't want them to get, and I think that's an intelligent ban. So that one's pretty smart. I wonder what their third ban's going to be. Right now, Echo is still on the field with that thought about. Echo is definitely a first pick worthy champion. Any top laner worth their salt should be picking him up and knowing how to play him. We heard Lolo talk about that actually when we talked about Liquid. You know, it's like, hey, you played a bunch of tanks. There's new tanks. How'd you prep? I just put a bunch of games on them. I made sure I could get those ready, and he did so pretty well. We get through with the picks and bans, and we see that Azir is, in fact, still the ban on the table.
So that will count. The graphics issue was unable to be resolved, which is why you guys see this champ select in its pure form.
In its pure form. Sadly, graphics went down, but that's okay. It's all pretty understandable. And Kennen, the RF-specific Kennen ban. And the thing is, Kennen's come back as an understood strong champion. Nothing happened to Kennen in a very long time, I don't think, unless I'm misremembering something.
They always do little tweaks to his ultimate to make it better, but...
Yeah, it's been a very long time, but people just remembered that Kennen was good.
Well, specifically, I feel like the Coup Tigers remembered it was good.
Right.
Smeb had a bunch of games.
And then everyone was like, I'm going to trust you guys.
That's
Smeb.
good for initiation. Best team in the world.
Yeah, let's go ahead and trust them. So now it's ban-worthy because you understand this is a thing. And yeah, no chance for RF to play that one. And now it's up for Renegades to decide if they want to play Nidalee for the first time all series or what they're going for. The Kindred pick should not surprise them very much. That was first picked by Renegades themselves last game, so they understood that it was high priority champion.
And Crumbs had a really good game on it.
Yes, he did.
So I like the denial there. Crumbs would obviously be able to go for Gragas or Nidalee or really anything else. Nidalee has been falling through. The slight nerfs has deprioritized her a little bit, but it's still surprising not to see her. And just raw power picks here with the Echo coming through on the second rotation.
Double flex?
Or first rotation for them, but on the red side.
Yeah, first round red side, Corki, Echo the pickup here. We don't know if it's Corki or Echo in the mid lane, Echo in the top lane, Corki in the AD carry spot. But it went unpicked in the prior game. It's only been Renegades who've been willing to play that Corki so far. Otherwise, they'd banned away the Echo to not let TDK get it over in game 2. And we wait for the next few picks to come through. Definitely an interesting start here to the draft, as now TDK must show something from this lineup.
Yeah.
They could still go bot lane. They could actually just go, like, Caitlyn, Janna. Yeah, that's totally fine.
I'm glad they're doing this. It's going back to what got them here. OQ's Caitlyn was dominant in games 1 and 2 against Team Dignitas. It was Trance's Janna, but Bishu's Janna is also good.
Yeah.
So same champion setup, something they're comfortable doing.
And a heavy backline as well, of course. This Kindred, if Kez can do well, will do plenty of damage himself. And the question is what's going to fill it out. You need a top lane tank, but there's plenty still available. There's Maokai, there's Rammus, there's Nautilus, there's, heck, even Trundle if you really want it. Only Poppy and Echo are off the table for RF.
This Lulu would be interesting.
Oh, yeah, the Lulu ban got dropped.
The Lulu ban got dropped, but they already have a solo lane Echo. And if they were to pick the Lulu, they would be left with a pretty much only magic damage team.
True.
And TDK is still left to pick their tank line. So they don't know if they can get away with running that much magic damage. So I think they could still do it. I just don't want them to pick it here. I'd want them to save last pick.
So, Yeah, so they switched the jungler to something physical damage. It's not amazing, but it's Rek'Sai for the physical damage output. And I think they can still flex Lulu to support. Notice they've not picked a hard support. I like Lulu and Ajana, by the way. The actual fighting potential is quite good. You can insta-pop her shield, and now you can run a physical damage marksman and put Corki mid, or physical damage mid laner. I mean, Seraph can still play Jace, right?
Yeah, it could be another flex for sure. And big time initiation comes in with Maokai Lissandra.
I like this.
Yeah, me too, actually. Maokai, where's that guy been this series? We got all these carry players up there trying to do carry things.
2 Rise games, a Jace.
Seraph too powerful.
Right.
But really, that's kind of what we would expect to see is Maokai and Lissandra. It's great initiation potential, great burst damage from Lissandra, and it backs up their double marksman in the back.
Okay, so what's going to round out the composition now? We know where everyone's going. Of course, the easy Lissandra mid, the Maokai top. No flexes here really for TDK. It's a standard lineup here on this one, and it's just a good engaged team. Caitlyn has the ability to follow up, so does Kindred. If something goes wrong, they've got 2 great defensive ultimates, actually 3. Maokai, Kindred, and Janna can all keep things from going badly. Just a well-rounded team that can do almost anything. I do like this 5-man group a lot.
Yeah, and they have a lot less early game liability than they had last game.
Wow. Well, if that's how they want to end the series, what it's going to be for Diana, I assume for the mid lane meeting top Echo. Seems.
It's funny.
Go ahead.
They're going to swap the Lulu to the support, but they're not going to bring a physical damage mid laner. They're just going to bring more magic damage. Surprise! I think.
I don't love this because Alex is going to get an Abyssal Scepter, Kez is going to get a Maw, and RF's going to build a Spectre's Cowl first item into probably a Spirit Message in the Banshee's Veil. And yeah, that's really efficient here, and you get to multiply that with all the healing that Bijou gets to provide, the damage reduction that RF Legendary gets to provide from the Maokai, and I think this requires Renegades to outplay the macro game or snowball early game. Snowball is something they've been able to do very well for themselves, so it's not the biggest surprise that they can do it, but yeah, by comparison, I think TDK's comp is much, much better.
Yes, I agree. Sorry, I was looking through the runes and masteries of Ninja. I'm not sure actually when the sync happens between the game and
our
when
clients
we're in.
And their masteries.
But he had Strength of Ages and on Diana.
Yeah. I could see them easily being Bruiser Diana.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's something they've done before is throw the Bruiser mid lane as a surprise, and I was like, well, maybe they do that with Diana too. It's not something we see. Like,
he's probably not Sunfire Iceborne, but it's going to be like Abyssal Zonius or something, like a Rylai's.
I'm really curious to see.
I think it's probably a Bruiser Diana. We'll see what's going to end up being, but you guys at home, tweet who's going to win this one to @EliteSports, #TDK win, #REN win for who it's going to be. We are in what could be the final game of the series. Renegades in the red just need one more win to re-qualify for the North American LCS. We'll see them in June on this stage once again. Team Dragon Knights have subbed in RF Legendary in the top lane. They need to win 3 straight if they want to make it back in compared to 2015 when they were evicted. We'll see if they can win 3 straight against Renegades. They've got to do this one here and then 2 more.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, Freak, but if Renegades wins this, they would have done it with 15 unique champions across 3 games.
I don't think they have... Freeze replayed Corki.
So close. 14.
And depending on how you count Echo, he was played mid, then top, so it depends
13.
on your definition.
My stat sucks.
Hey, it's still in the teens, all right, chat? That's still...
It's a lot of champions.
It is a lot of champions.
It's more than a few.
It is more than a few. A few would be 3 to 4, roughly. I don't know actually what the technical definition of a few is. Meanwhile, Hakubo taking more than a few damage here. OQ throwing a few bullets his way. Headshot into the squid back head of Lulu, and she's going to have to heal up. And actually, it will mean that Renegades will be late to lane.
Yeah.
Because Recalls are going to complete at like 120 and change. They won't probably miss XP, but it will mean a very awkward start.
And RF also gets to sapling start at the Raptors. So this is potentially the best game opener.
Yep. And those will one-shot
by far
the Raptors.
Well, it should be the little ones, right?
Yeah, the little ones.
So he'll get a small little XP bump.
And poop, 3 CS from Maokai.
Yep.
And that'll give him level 2 on the first wave if he does get into a one-on-one. We will be in matched lanes here. Once again, OQ and Bijou, the 2-on-2 now. They did just fine last time, although it was lane swap to start things out. Perfect CS so far for Alex Ich. Ninja hoping for that, but this will be more difficult, and he will sacrifice some of the caster minions.
Should be able to get 5 of 6. Oh,
No.
4 of 6.
Didn't get the
A
auto.
bit more patience on that one would have done it. Yeah, I mean, this is a matchup where Ninja's not able to shove up immediately. When he gets a little bit of magic resist, a few points in W, he'd be able to do it. I actually see most Dianas level 1 with W just to be able to take damage and get it, but Ninja with a slightly different skill order, not going to make a huge impact. And no lane swaps this game either.
Yeah, regular start here. RF was able to grab parts of the Raptors and walk all the way up towards the top side jungle. Seraph in a normal situation there. Triggers grasp at the end, dying, gets a little bit of health back and some damage, and well, it's still going to be a minion lead for RF. Even if you discount the 3 he got from the Raptors, you still get most of these, and he's slightly ahead against Seraph.
I can confirm that Ninja has gone Strength of Aegis on the Diana. It could be for a couple of reasons. Like, Thunderlords is good for Diana. It increases your burst. But at the same time, he is against a burst champion in lane.
Right.
And being able to have 300 extra health in your Diana build, which is going to be bruiser-ish with Zhonya's and Abyssal in a lot of games.
Yeah.
I don't think it's terrible.
No, I don't think so either. I think I mean, this is what we wanted with the Keystones, right? Was you can choose among many powerful options for what makes the most sense for this game. What makes the most sense for your playstyle. For reference, by the way, last game Seraph went Strength of Aegis on his Rise build.
Right.
Because he wanted the 300 extra health to, like, be durable in team fights.
And it worked great. He played extremely aggressive.
Yeah, died only once all game. And so, yeah, I'm glad those options are available. I've had a lot of people tell me that they really like Strength of Aegis on mid laners. We don't see it yet much in competitive play, but Rise was one of the champions that was name dropped for that. It's just, yeah, be tanky. You have the damage output and you're get anyway. Just supplement your durability. Continue to watch the mid lane. It's getting a bit worse for Ninja over time. He's falling back in minion farm overall against Alex Sitch. And you can see that Lulu poke really starting to pay out here. These shields chunked quite low.
Yeah, I think a lot of times support Lulu is highly underrated, only because it's so good in a solo lane, and the AP scaling has been so amazing that you're just like, well, of course you're going to take a mid lane.
Right.
But the laning phase itself of Lulu can be very strong, just from a poke perspective.
Yeah. What's interesting actually as well is her laning phase didn't go anywhere, but both the power of mid lane Lulu went down because the AP ratio and the rank up on ally Whimsy went down, which also means the opportunity cost of support Lulu went down. He wasn't getting a lot of levels anyway, wasn't getting rank 2 and 3 W for a while regardless, wasn't getting the AP for W regardless, and so
you're saying the difference between mid and top lane.
Right, is now closer, and so having Lulu at all, it's now almost the same champion, or more of the same champion.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Still weaker mid lane, not buffed in support by any means.
No, just
you're more likely to take it there because you don't feel as bad about it.
It's a measure of opportunity cost, and that's one way to look at it. It's not always the right way, but it's how I'm going to deliver this one here. And
you did it. I agree.
Yeah.
Good job.
Cool. Thank you. 300 gold lead for TDK, actually. A lead for them from their early game plays so far. You're seeing a 6 minion lead in the top lane and a 9 minion lead in the mid lane. Also, by the way, plus 12 for OQ. Some of that's them pushing, but hey, look. These guys were losing lane in game 1. Bishu comes in, hadn't played with the team since regular season of Challenger.
Yeah.
And, well, it turns out it's looking a whole lot better right now. So TDK, early glimmers of hope.
Absolutely. Didn't have lane swaps, and if they could get first blood, I think that would be pretty big for them.
Yeah.
Only because they
what a way to elevate the team.
They need one part on the map they can play around.
Yes.
Right? Because
can't this lane.
Tactics can only take you so far if you're losing every lane. But as soon as you have an advantage, you can leverage either to overcommit the other team or to then put pressure somewhere else. It's really necessary.
Definitely agree. We're seeing Alex go for the play because he's got a jungler coming around, but Alex is so close to dead. The last one to come through, Ninja lands the Q, but he will go down to the turret. It's a trade of kills. And actually plus gold overall for TDK for that.
The first blood went to Ninja though, right?
Yeah, so it's worse for Alex.
Because the assist didn't come through. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You said Crumbs was not able to get in on that, so more gold to them. Ninja, always willing to trade kills. He was completely free. He thought the flash kill was going to finish Alex, and then he sticks around and takes 2 or 3 turret shots just to land that. Alex uses his glacial path in and then doesn't have the mana to use his ultimate. And then we're going right back at it because the ultimate is still there.
And Ninja has no
flash.
So the immediate return, well played TDK. Finally a lead they can be proud of for the first time all series. And a flash away from RF dodges away from the gank. He's still up CS. He's got to respect the next Crumbs gank, but what a relief for TDK fans.
Yes. Kez now has a big advantage big double ganks for Crumbs with nothing. Double kills for Kez. That's an 800 gold, 700 gold boost, maybe more if you count the jungle farm he was able to get afterwards. So now that's actually, if you're looking at like an advantage you can leverage early on in the game, jungler is the biggest advantage you can leverage because you get to leverage it anywhere you want. Everywhere Kez goes now will be something Crumbs has to back away from.
And just like that, the Gromp was stolen, but Kez will be on this blue buff without much problem. And as the next Kindred Mark spawns somewhere in the jungle, Kez being able to 1v1 Crumbs lets him bully out and say, no, this Gromp is mine, or these Krugs are mine, or whatever. And we might see that start pushing forward again. First few recalls have come through. Hakuho just earned more money from his Spell Thieves and has Sightstone already. Not the same case for Bishu, so he's got to be a little bit sad. But the early ward coverage comes down for the Renegades bot lane. They should stay afloat. But 71 to 54 in minions. You can see a Phage recall versus a BF sword. Not in the favor of Corki.
No, definitely not. Free's pretty far behind. I mean, that's what OQ and Bishu did with the Caitlyn. Well, OQ and Trance did in the games against Dignitas to build a lot of their advantage. They just took Caitlyn,
won the lane. And then just
congratulations.
Was a better mid-game team fighter because they went for super efficient. And by the way, in terms of talking about auto attack DPS, Infinity Edge into 2 Zeal items is the most efficient path. Just 80% crit chance is the best stats you can get. Caitlyn does actually scale inferiorly with attack speed. I think I was going to live here, so I'm going to talk about Caitlyn some more.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how much gets traded back.
Yeah, her base attack speed, instead of being 0.65, okay, let's talk about the fights,
Crumbs couldn't see.
Crumbs knocked into the air, taking plenty of damage, has to flash away. Will there be a chase? Not enough of one, but it will be damage and a forced recall out of Crumbs.
But still huge. Kez can now take control of the Dragon Pit.
Absolutely, and that could be a dragon whenever it's time to start stacking that Devour. It has been completed. You can get 5 stacks if a dragon ever goes down in his vicinity. RF.
He's got like the perfect situation going on right there because he can get the Scuttle Crab and the Dragon as well as just completing his Devourer.
Yep.
Oh, man.
And it was even a Kindred Mark, so that's really good for him. 2 stacks, I believe, now is what Kez has.
Go for the Dragon. They don't want to.
Not want the Dragon. Bot lane was not under enough control. Even though Crumb's ulti is down, he can't get back across the map that fast. There's no more. Okay, so talk about Caitlyn a little bit. The default base attack speed for a champion is 0.625, and Caitlyn's is 10% lower than that. So it's 0.5 something, right? So automatically that number is 10% lower.
It's very low.
It's very low.
Because that's the number that's multiplied off of every attack.
Everything is multiplied by that number instead of 0.65, it's 0.5 something. So that's 10% lower than a default. However, her level 1 stats has 10% attack speed on it, similar to Diana passive. So it feels like 0.625 as a level 1 champ with no wins and masteries, but all further attack speed is 10% worse.
Doesn't multiply, sorry.
Forever, because it's multiplying the 0.56 number or whatever. As a result, even though it feels bad buying daggers on Caitlyn, you have so much auto attack uptime, and your laning phase is so good, and because you're so safe, you can build a really greedy 2 Zeal items Infinity Edge build. You end up doing really good damage.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting did you know, especially for people if you're ever reading patch notes again and you see a base attack speed change. A lot of people would think that like that's mainly about, oh yeah, now at the start of the game I'll attack slower. But no, what that means is every attack speed item you now build is less effective because everything is off of that base number.
Yeah.
It's not intuitive by the names of the skill, but that's exactly how it works.
Yeah. The ways to think about that is if you're like 5% less whatever, you just do 5% less auto attack DPS. You don't have to consider like any real factors. Like, I do 5% less damage, done.
Yep.
There is one side benefit in that it actually does specifically deprecate the value of things like Blade of the Ruin King. Because now like you just won't get as many procs like, compared to like other ways you can think about the items and whatnot. Like, you are now forever a worse Ruin King user than other champions. But yeah, it's you do less auto attack DPS by 10%, but her uptime is very high. And she buys a Hurricane, so it's like you get that back via item efficiency.
And he's up 23 CS.
Yep.
So
feels good, man.
A lot of success coming this game.
All right, here's the push into the top side. RF Legendary doing battle with Seraph, and RF really not taking much damage. Feeling okay in this one. They're trading pretty much equally, though. The tank battle up there going fine. Freeze getting poked down a little bit. Some damage from OQ, and the shields from Janna certainly help. BF sword into Zeal. OQ, the first Caitlyn player I've seen buy intelligently and actually go for a completed Zeal item before finishing the IE. I think actually Freeze did that last game as well. But
which is weird because yesterday OQ completed Boots of Swiftness and Infinity Edge before a Zeal item.
Yeah.
So he's
wrong.
changed it game to game.
The guy just buys items based on what gold he has. Like I've watched so many OQ games
Exactly.
as a challenger. He just buys what he can afford.
Which at the same time, like that is
good.
a lot of the most optimal things. You run into a lot of unnecessary deaths if you're really greeding for an extra item or you need to do an item path a certain way. What is optimal is BF sort of Zeal, but it's not always realistic for what you can do in the game. And now they get the extra Devour stacks.
Solid stuff. Kez can feel good about that one. +5 for the Dragon going down. 6% more attack damage and ability power for the team. And whoa, Alexich taking a whole chunk of damage. Ninja, actually, hold on. Is that Grasp of the Undying or is that Strength of Ages? Hold on.
No. I
thought I saw a green poof. Oh, no, it's Strength of Ages. You're right.
Strength of Ages. He had 11 stacks.
I'm silly. I'm silly. Yeah. It was Crumbs had killed the Krugs, or the Raptors, and that gave him 10 health. That's why I saw a green swirl coming in. The particle trick because it's the same particle almost.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're on the same page here. So actually, Crumbs just gave 10 HP to Ninja.
Which is assisted on the Raptors?
You don't have to assist, you just be nearby.
Oh,
it's just nearby killed by a teammate.
Okay.
You have to do nothing special. Yeah. You can heal teammates, by the way. By just killing a wolf camp near your jungler as he's running away, you get 6% max health back.
5 strengths of ages and the entire team clears the jungle. Everyone gets 60 health.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. Probably not optimal, but I mean, there is some synergy there. So, Rod of Age is done for Alexich, plus cooldown boots, early Abyssal Scepter, and yes, indeed, the Arm Guard in from Ninja. Of course, again, it's a very magic damage heavy team here. You're seeing already Merc Treads done for RF Legendary. We'll see how much more magic this comes through for the team of TDK.
Yeah, and Seraph's getting Dove here. He's going to have the ult, but that's not going to heal him for much.
And he's very, very low, but Kez could not quite dive the turret. Didn't want to go for the dive all the way in and pop himself ulti for that one, but now re-engage on the mid side of the map. Alexich has the blue buff, ults Ninja, but Abyssal Scepter makes him pretty damn tanky.
Good roam by Bishu.
Yeah.
Spectacular roam by Bishu. Ninja was going to want to extend that because he had the auto attack damage coming through and his cooldowns were going to cycle before Lissandra's.
Yeah.
So he actually wanted that trade, but it makes it a really favorable trade for Alex, the fact that Bishu roamed in to stop that. And I actually feel like Renegades is in a pretty tough spot here, even if they fought back by about 400 gold.
Yeah.
Mainly because the bottom lane is going so well for TDK, and he's on a carry who will be able to do a lot in the late game. And Crumbs, with this Rek'Sai, picked physical damage so the team would have a mix. And therefore, I don't think he's going an optimal Rek'Sai build. He fell a little bit behind in the early game, so he went Sightstone so they could track Kez, which makes him not that bruisery. And now he's going Sightstone into what is probably a Warrior enchantment because he wants more physical damage. I would have much rather seen a Cinderhulk enchantment with the Sightstone because he's just not far enough ahead to go with such an offensive item build with Warrior and the Sightstone. If you're going to do that, I feel like you need a lot of excess gold. But if they still execute well, he'll be able to get the current advantage. I just see a Warrior Sightstone Rek'Sai walking into an Infinity Edge Caitlyn soon.
And just dying.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be tough stuff for Crowns, but he'll try to counter jungle what he can. Meanwhile, top side is, though the farm was close to equal, Seraph actually winning that matchup quite nicely and knocks the turret down. So first turret of the game does go to Renegades. Crumbs gets the red buff himself as well. Kez late to the party. And a flash because Hakuho was cut off by the Caitlyn.
Yeah, and looking at it now, Crumbs has somehow gotten a 1 level advantage on Kez. I'm not entirely sure how that happened.
Kez will hit 10 off these Krugs, but it's at least a half-level lead, certainly. It's a good stuff for them. We saw an engage in the top side, but now a fight in the mid lane. Here comes Crumbs as well. A flash will keep Alexich safe, but now Seraph really pushing down RF Legendary. The Sheen is in, and look at the damage output he's got. Takes some minion aggro, but this does not look great for the Maokai anymore.
Sheen and the Bomby Cinder. It's crazy, actually. Dark Seal as well, by the way. Something we've seen a little bit out of LCK. Goes.
RF is going to be going down for this one. Jumps into the turret, still goes down. Flash for nothing. Seraph is the killer on this one. Bot lane goes down, but RF going for a greedy build, getting a Rod of Ages and getting punished for it.
Yeah, instead of going Tank Maokai, he wanted to go Rod of Ages to get a little bit of damage off. I can respect that, but it is really worrying when Seraph doesn't even have to build a single magic resist item against a Maokai who's doing magic damage and is still winning the trades.
And the top lane tier 2 went down.
Yeah, like I know Seraph is really good, but that also makes me feel like the matchup is heavily tilted against Maokai. Like if that is possible, if you can do that Echo item build into Rod of Ages components and a little bit of magic resist and still win, maybe the item breakpoints or gold was different. It's a little crazy to me.
I think inventory value is certainly better right now.
Inventory value is better by about 500 for Seraph. Because a non-completed Rod of Ages is actually very weak.
Yeah.
So if RF had his Rod of Ages, then it would have been more realistic. But because Sheen and Bomby Cinder were there, the overall DPS from Seraph is much higher.
He just flashes into the tunnel anyway.
Yeah, don't like that. that flash at all.
He could have get him. Yeah, it's a different mechanic. He could have actually W'd the in-flight Rek'Sai and then flashed away. I believe while rooted you can't unburrow. I could be wrong on that one, but
I've seen it attempted a few times. Usually the Maokai will end up getting knocked up anyway.
Because it's a travel time so long.
Unburrow is actually very forgiving.
You just get hit regardless.
Yeah,
okay.
you just right-click on him, and he's going to probably get it.
Okay, so never mind that one, but still lost the flash and died for it regardless. So unfortunate loss of cooldown there. 2 turrets picked up is a big boon of gold for Renegades because their bot lane was losing, and it's still losing by a lot. 30 now the minion lead for this Caitlyn. But now in the mid lane, once again, the fight on the edge. He burns the flash, so getting chased down. Do they have enough damage? Right back in because he's got nothing else to do. The Lulu tries to save for now. Hako helping out. Seraphim in the front so far. Survival though. The Kindred ulti will give some healing, but the Janna doesn't want to pick up any of that.
This here.
Maokai stuck in the front side. They're taking so much punishment. He goes down. Ninja has taken down RF Legendary. Renegades win that fight off of what was a catch.
They want more.
And they're going to keep going for this one. Echo has turret aggro. You can always pop out to get out. Doesn't even need to do so. The dive doesn't mean very much, but it's still really good for Renegades as they've gotten that kill.
Yeah, Hakuho saves the day there with the Lulu ultimate to keep Ninja alive. And then the teleport for RF just misread the fight. That teleport only works if TDK has control, but by the time he completed that thing, the rest of his team had abandoned, and it let Renegades freely put damage onto him. Gives them a kill and gives them back control in this game.
I don't think RF even ulted as well. I went back and looked at it, and I don't think he even pressed R to tank up longer, so unfortunate misplay there by him, and it's Renegades also picking up a Dragon for themselves, and now this team is winning up a kill, up a turret, and up a good 2,000 gold. Not insurmountable, but it's starting to go downhill for TDK.
Yeah, watching this again, Ninja starts it very close to the turret, and Kez is there for the counter as well as the roam, so it looks like a very good start for TDK, which is why I think they're getting so aggressive. And then the teleport was actually matched around the same time Seraph comes in from RF, but it was just so far away. So he teleported, now he's walking in, and you're right. He doesn't even use his ultimate before the fight begins. That is just a straight up misplay. You need to use ultimate as you're walking into a fight for Maokai.
Unless he had somehow used it clearing away beforehand, it just wasn't quite up at the time, but I don't think that was the case here.
Yeah,
RF now,
the replay looked like it was up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was as well. Crumbs gets a clear away pink ward, make RF run away from him. Unfortunate stuff here, 0-2 and 0 on this Maokai. Rod of Ages up there now going for some, why is Maokai building a cloth armor?
I think he wants it for general tankiness, but I think he wants cooldown reduction more so than anything. He should be going Visage next with a Kindle Gem.
But be a Kindle Gem, and Sarah's just going to evaporate this poor guy.
Yeah.
And into Firewood he goes. RF Legendary is gone. Now the re-engage. Kez having a kite back, but he's so close to killing out Seraph, who ults back. Has to pop his own ulti, but now we have the Janna here. No ulti up. The Lulu ulti comes in, but it should still be enough to kill off Seraph. Caitlyn putting in the auto attacks. Ults in for it as well. He's got nowhere else to go. OQ does turn one back. A 1-for-1 top laners traded. And again, gold to the AD carry is important, but OQ has still a lot of room to go.
Yeah, they still kill RF Legendary. Seraph drew a lot of attention over there, and maybe Ninja gets some pressure on the bottom lane. The pressure created by Seraph in the top lane is just leaking into other lanes.
Yeah. Freeze steals a red buff.
Renegades gets the rest of their pressure, and Alex
okay. Ults freeze, plenty of damage. Can't quite get the kill though, sadly. No other damage was around to help that one, but good to know that
Freeze had to heal.
Yeah, Alex can almost one-shot Freeze. And that will happen for a while.
Yeah, I think Freeze will go Infinity Edge, and then he should be going for Hex Drink or a QSS with his next set. And then that'll stop. We do need to talk about the top lane mismatch in this series, though. Because
for sure.
Seraph and the rest of Renegades have annihilated TDK, and they've made the switch from Flares, who had an awful game 2, to RF, and it doesn't feel like RF has been able to come in and recover. He started the game off decently and pretty well, but a bad teleport, and now what looks like a pretty bad itemization choice is making the situation go from bad to worse, because Seraph is really huge now, and with his build, pretty heavy armor, Sunfire, Cape Iceborne Gauntlets, that's going to be up in OQ's face for most of the fights. Yeah. And OQ is really the main win condition for TDK. So I think this has to get to really late game for that equation to start working in TDK's favor. And I don't know if they have that time, since Renegades opened up a 4,000 gold lead now, 21 minutes.
Sure, yeah, they can keep pushing this one forward. Thankfully for Kez, he got another Kindred mark there off of taking down topside Scuttle Crab. It's not too bad for him, but it's still a difficult road ahead here. TDK fighting for survival in this series. Again, even if they do lose this game, they can still fight tomorrow for that last spot in the LCS. But the real advantage here is that Renegades are just this one game away from reclaiming their position in the 2016 summer split. And they're going to look to make their next big play, as Ninja is the dedicated split pusher, does have teleport up, fighting against Alexich. Business up from both these guys. Now actually going for Nashor's Tooth as well, so really wants to have that high uptime team fight that lends itself to the Strength of Ages choice from earlier.
Yeah, I think it's also a bit of a split push choice. Back when top lane Diana was, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, Nashor's Tooth was like the first item on her. And you always just go to the side lane. You shove so quickly with Nashor's because you get your 3-hit passive to clear the back line of the waves so often. And if you're in an extended team fight, like you say, it is good because you get a lot. The passive damage after scale is really high.
He does, and now the fight for the bot lane. Tier 2 turret. Janna Shield comes in. The flash engage. Whoa, has to self-ult. Alexich coming in. They don't have to burn flash, but they get some damage on a Crumbs who gets a Lulu ulti. The Janna knocks him actually back after Crumbs flashes away. And a trade of ultis and summoners. Kez still on a bit of a chase, but won't bite off more than he can chew. But look at that. Seraph was pushing the mid lane, and mid lane tier 2 is gone.
Yep, it's the same thing that Renegades have been doing in all 3 games. They set up split pushing. They dare TDK to initiate, they fight them 4v5, and then they take a turret. Like, that doesn't necessarily work all the time, but it's been working for them very well in this series because TDK's just not been able to put good, clean initiations together.
It's not supposed to work, and yet it does. There is no TP flank coming in. RF now hoping to keep the mid lane alive for now as Sarah pushed that one in, but that Echo's going to walk to the top lane, push another one into the turret, and continue the 5v4 train where he can match the teleports here. He can join in if RF ever does himself. 4 on 4. It's 2-item Caitlyn. Like, this is generally a pretty strong place to be. Freeze has not completed the item after Trinity Force yet himself. This is workable, but Alexich needs to wait for his ultimate to come back up from cooldown to make that hard engage work.
I think that's the thing. They know that Alex's ultimate is down, so it's even safer for them to siege a little bit longer. Because the Caitlyn traps are out, though, it does feel like Renegades is going to reboot a little bit and be content just taking the entirety of TDK's jungle.
Yep. It's a nice way to slow roll the game, is keep the ward control up. You've got Sightstone on 2 players. In fact, the fully upgraded Sightstone Hakuho has Eye of the Watchers here. Of course, the Aegis coming out from him, no big surprise there, but they've got plenty of wards, 3 blue trinkets, 2 red trinkets, keep the wards up, and yeah, just take all the gold and all the XP that comes out of the jungle. You can just keep growing a gold lead by a couple hundred every minute.
Yeah. Actually, as they're taking Dragon, I criticized Crumbs earlier for his choice of Warrior into Sightstone, but as far as Rand with Zoman, I think this is a spectacular situation to build it on.
Yeah.
Especially with OQ going toward that 80% crit build. Taking 10% less damage from critical strikes is really huge, and there was a cost reduction that happened to Randwoods in a previous patch.
That's pretty inexpensive.
To just make it a really efficient item. Even if you're not into crit, I think it's sometimes okay, but into a guy who's stacking crit early, I think it's great.
It just reads, take 8% less damage from OQ. Sounds good.
10%.
Well,
crits.
10% from 80% of his attacks, 8% of his total damage.
You were one step ahead.
Sorry, I'm just a really big math nerd. I do that all the time. But yes, here we go. In the bot lane is going to be a couple of match TPs, but it's going to be a 3v2 though, as the top laner will cancel. Seraph does not want in after all. So the ulti comes in onto Crumbs to dive in, and yes, they pick up the Rex side. Now they're re-engaged towards Alex. Flashes away, gets the Kindred ulti to stay alive, and now Ninja's got nowhere to go on this one. Caitlyn Snipe comes in, pops the Zonias. As long as they don't play it wrong, they'll get this kill, and they will, but mid's getting hit.
It's all about the counter push right there, because Renegades did butt off more than they could shoot in that 2v5, but what did it buy them on the other side? Breaking open the base is probably worth it as long as they don't lose a subsequent fight or Baron off of those 2 deaths.
I think they have to go for the Baron play. In fact, we're seeing a teleport come in,
They're
and it's the flank in
the
for
kills.
RF. He roots up Freeze. Lulu ulti those guys a lot of time, and he dies for sure by himself. Janna ult buys some as well. They go back in. They're looking for damage onto Seraph. Bijou kites back the flash chase for Caitlyn OQ. One more hit will kill off Freeze. He jumps forward, gets the kill. That's another 1-for-1. Make this a 3-to-1 overall fight right now. Teleport is up for Ninja. He's alive in 10 seconds. Seraph running away though. He is getting chased down.
Yeah, I mean, he's hoping for the 15-second execute timer. Maybe he's thinking of a potential escape, but there's no way. They ticked him.
He flashed to buy some time, though. There's no turret in the mid lane. But there's a red buff on Caitlyn. He can ult back, but he goes in, won't get the kill. So 4 kills to 1 is the overall pickup, and still 20 seconds on Corki.
Yeah, that closes the gold a little bit. I would have liked to see RF teleport in a little bit later. I also like how he's abandoned his Glacial Shroud path and going towards the magic resist and cooldown reduction route in that sense. So that is all good and positive things for TDK. And yeah, if you look at it in the big picture, Renegades did open up the inhibitor, but they lose a little bit of their gold lead for that, and I think that's overall good for TDK.
All right, well, Team Dragonites then hoping to bring this game back to close. 5,500 gold deficit, definitely still not great. 27 minutes in, it's a pretty big lead to have, but they can always win by playing it right. They've almost got the next item done. You're seeing a Zeal in from OQ, and now cutting towards Last Whisper. He needs to have the armor shred to get through on this one. There are a couple of self-healers on the Renegades lineup. Crumbs and Seraph can both do that, so maybe I think you have a fairly close choice between going Mortal Reminder or Lord Dominic's, but I think both are fine in this context.
Yeah.
Dragonite's going to clear away Baron Wards and try right away. They are requiring that Renegades match this.
This is overly risky.
Teleport is up for Diana.
Up for Ninja, and there's a ward that he
Crumbs
can go
isn't far.
It's getting really low. They're a little bit late.
They will not finish Baron. I think they could have used General to disengage, but they will let Baron heal back up. I think they could have burned Baron, honestly.
Yeah. They had done so much damage to that. The crit cycle from the Janna and Caitlyn killed that so fast, as well as the Kindred. Remember, Kindred gets crazy fast kills. He's got only 4 mark of the Kindreds, nothing like Crumbs' 8 in the last game. But still, a massively fast Baron take. And I think a risk that they probably should have taken.
I agree.
To potentially get ahead in this game. Down 2-0 in the series. If it go, but I think they're just afraid that if they lose this fight, they don't clinch LCS.
Sure.
But they would still have tomorrow. I think it was totally a play.
I agree, it was totally worth it. Diana, Ninja did burn the teleport cooldown, but then got back into the bottom lane, knocked down bot lane tier 2. But now, once again, there is now no teleport threat.
There's no match for him. Like, he's actually just going to take an inhibitor.
Okay, well, the 5v4 has to be won by TDK, but this time around they're getting poked out by the Corki. This could just be a game-losing play right now, but they're going to stick to the Baron pit as the inhibitor will be going down. In comes Seraph, knocked back by Bijou. Onto the Baron they go. Who's going to pick it up? The spike comes through, and it goes to the red team. Crumbs takes it. They're probably going to win the team fight as well. It's a 1-for-1 so far, though. Kindred buying time.
They're going to win the game,
line is huge, and yes, the Nexus is still just dying. It's still just going down. Ninja, 1 versus 0. Happy to just take down the Nexus. What a horrible call by Team Dragonites, but that will be the 3-0. There's no chance for a comeback. Renegades are back into the North American LCS.
Yeah, just a catastrophe at the very end there for TDK, with a chance to make a decent Baron call, and then they make
a terrible,
the worst Baron call, really. And then, to add insult to injury, Crumbs stole the Baron, giving the split push of Ninja Baron-empowered minions to finish the game.
Yeah.
But that is not the defining moment in the series whatsoever. Renegades, built on the momentum they accumulated at the end of the regular season, 3-0'd very convincingly this TDK team. With 3 very different drafts, showing variety as well as practice on a multiple sets of champions.
Yeah.
And they are well-deserved to make it back in the LCS.
Definitely well-deserved. And I do want to see what this Renegades roster can do in the new split. If this is the lineup that remains, this is the lineup that went 5-2 in the last 7 games of the North American LCS. This is the team that, you know, hard 3-0 TDK, who hard 3-0 Dignitas the moment before. This is clearly a solid team. They're the first team to requalify here in North America, and I think rightly so. Now the question is, how high is this ceiling? Because while the squad deserves to be here because of how many games Renegades lost, this group of 5 players, I don't expect to see them in relegations again. This is, you know, LCS-ades at this point, and I think they can have
fun.
No, well, I mean, it's a play off the joke that
it's Renegades.
Twitch chat loves to put on Renegades. Yeah, it's Renegades, a solid team that can definitely make a run for the playoffs in North America. If they keep getting better, I want to see what they can do.
Absolutely. Seraph looks more comfortable on this Renegades team than he has ever looked to me since he's come to North America, really in his whole career.
Yeah.
Even when he was on TDK in Challenger before the trade, he didn't succeed in Challenger, but every time he'd come up into the LCS, he looked pretty good. And in this series, it seemed like the synergy was very high between Crumbs and Seraph. It seemed like the pressure Freeze creates a very menacing team to play against. Ninja is crazy and puts himself in a lot of dangerous positions, which draws attention there. And then you have Freeze and Seraph, who are 2 incredibly high-pressure laners on other sides, and it makes Crumbs look like a good jungler again. because
Yeah.
for the entire split, people were saying the dumps meme, they're saying he was terrible. But when he has good laners, Crumbs has strategy.
Right.
He knows how to make the shot calls to win the games, and we're seeing this towards the end of the LCS season and in this 3-0 of TDK.
I mean, think about that. The solo laners that Crumbs was against this match were his solo laners for most of the season. Okay, look, he got to keep Freeze and he got Hakuho, but like, you upgrade his solo lanes. Oh,
Right.
look what happens, right? This is
Yeah.
what happens when Ninja and Seraph are in for him. So, yeah, I do want to see now what this team looks like with their now brighter future. You know, talking about some of those improved players as well. Seraph did really well for himself. 2-0-4, 7-1-10, 2-2-5. Not the most impressive score, but like just a really solid series by him as well.
Yeah, dominant performance overall because you look at the opponents he played against, right? Like 0-9 on Flares, forced a top lane substitution. RF comes into this game and goes 0-5. And
Right.
the deaths that Seraph had was when the team was mobbing him and they were getting stuff on the other side of the map. So really dominant performance by Seraph, and
Yeah.
that makes Renegades the first team to re-qualify into the NALCS.
Yep.
That's 8 teams guaranteed for summer now.
8 teams guaranteed, so now we're going to see who the last ones could be. Of course, Impulse, Apex, and of course Team Dragon Knights will be fighting for those last 2 spots. We'll know one of them very soon. As we wrap up this game, I want to bring up one final replay. It's the game-winning fight. It's the Baron fight at the very end where
Right.
Ninja goes from tier 2 bot lane to AFK.
Yeah, so we know that the Nashor's Zeus Diana is very good at split pushing. It can clear waves well, and we can just roll this right now because there's also no teleports up based on the last Baron dance. And it definitely felt like TDK was maybe thinking about the missed opportunity and they can go for this, but this is straight up a 5v4 on top of the speed shrine that is controlled by the other team. Like, they know they're there. Corky poke is massive. The Echo is going to very easily be able to come in here. And even if the Baron isn't stolen, it doesn't matter because Ninja is crushing this, and TDK is going to probably lose the team fight. Baron takes them below 2/3 on pretty much everyone, and then the fight, of course, goes poorly. They jump in the back of the pit. Crumbs does die after the steal. They all have to jump out the back of the pit, but Seraph can get enough kills, and now that they don't have the empowered recalls, they're not fast enough to get back. Great trinket ward there by Freeze, and Ninja very easily
anyway
just auto-attacks. They would have won anyway, maybe even with the empowered recalls. Do they let Seraph get the last hit?
Yeah.
They let Seraph get the last hit on the Nexus. Fitting.
The
for
flash
way the series
Zonias,
went.
Ninja says, I don't need these things.
Yeah.
Ninja ended the game 2-3-0. Like, I mean, the actual game ended, by the way, with negative kills for Renegades. That was after a 3-for-1 to like win the game off the Baron fight, and they still ended the game negative in kills. And the thing is, it didn't matter. Renegades were ahead in gold regardless. They were playing the macro game better. They were farming more. They were just playing the game of League of Legends better. Individual kills notwithstanding, it just didn't matter. So obviously the superior team, well-deserved 3-0, well-deserved spot back in the North American LCS. And of course, our players did give it the roll on the Rift today, but only one player can be our player of the series this match. It was top laner for Renegades, Seraph. Honestly, he was so good. He showed that he does still have what it takes to dominate his Jace. His old main was there. He was super awesome. His Rise in Game 2 was great as well. And then even in the third game, the split push threat, one of the highest KDAs in the team, by the end of it all, was super solid.
Exactly. Seraph was winning his matchup 1v1. He was winning the 2v2s, and he was also playing the map and split push very well. Look at the kills, deaths, and assists in those games. Good champion variety from him, Jace, Rise, and Echo in the third game. The Rise game in particular, as you said, Strength of Ages to be a little tankier, had nearly 90% kill participation. Just really great series.
Yeah, I gotta say, and it's a roster now of actually fully talented players. I gotta say, I'm a much bigger fan of this Renegades lineup now. You've got people in every single lane who can take over a game, and depending on how dynamic this team is willing to be, right? You had Ninja willing to play hard tanks like Echo and then play, to split push Diana. You had Seraph able to just like, yeah, I'll play a poke like Jace, a hard carry like Rise, or a tank like Echo. Freeze continues to be awesome as well. Hakuho, honestly, accelerating very quickly as a strong support as well. I know that was a transition on purpose for that. Hello, Freeze.
Hey,
Congratulations, man.
thank you.
How do you feel after the 3-0? Did you expect to win in 3? What are your feelings of how you guys performed in this series?
Well, I wasn't sure if we will be dominant as we were because there were extra 2 weeks of practice and we played TDK the first week. They were improving massively, so I was expecting close series. I was even going for like 5 games maybe in my mind. So I definitely didn't want to underestimate my opponents. And when we played them, we saw that we're so much better at macro in the first 2 games or first 1 game. So we just decided we will play the game slowly. We will just out macro them. We will out rotate them. It doesn't matter if we lose lanes. If we like lose some team fight skirmishes, we will come ahead.
Is that what sort of informed your draft? Because we were commenting in Game 2, you kind of threw away all the champions you won within Game 1, and it was like, yeah, we're just going to ban the Echo, even though we could first pick it, and a whole new comp. Was that just, let's just play a team that we know can like mid-game well?
Well, they kept switching the players in between the games, so for us it was pretty hard to like adapt. So we didn't know what should we expect from them. So we just banned safely what is considered OP right now, rather than letting it open, risking it that they will take it while we can't take it, and we just played it safe.
Yeah, it seemed like you guys had a lot of overall champion variety as well. I'm a little curious from your perspective, because you're someone who's been with this Renegades team from the first game of the season all the way until now. What type of growth do you feel like the team has gone through? Obviously, a lot of roster changes. What is the difference from Game 1 until now?
The biggest difference is that our coach embraced us to become high, essentially. So what is our goal of practice? We want to be 5 highs in 5-man team. So everyone makes calls, everyone adds up to a different call. Like if someone says, let's do top lane, someone thinks, okay, let's get vision first on top lane, and we just add up these essentials that we basically need to pull out the call and make it happen. So everyone has a share of a call in the team.
It seems to work out pretty well for you guys. You've been playing really well in the mid game. I want to ask, how difficult is that? I know Seraph's English has improved steadily. Ninja's, I'm actually not sure how strong it is. Is there still difficulty coordinating with your Korean players?
Well, there's sort of a delay because Seraph has to translate most of the times if it's complex. But usually, you know, the game is simple, so everyone knows what to do if they're a good player. So you just basically know what to do, and then everything we have to explain is just when we do like a specific Baron play and we bait, and let's say Diana goes bottom, and then we go for like stop their Baron, like in this game, last game.
Yeah.
That was like we had to like explain it a bit, but it was fine.
And it looked crisp enough in the game, certainly. You guys played super, super well, so now you're going to be in the LCS in June once again. I'd been saying that I think you guys look like a playoff caliber team. Have you thought that far ahead? Like, what's Renegades going to be like in the summer split?
I think right now we're like top 5 team for sure. We've been screaming the top 2 teams, top 3 teams. We didn't have like the successful win rate against them, but we've been like 50-60% of win rate sometimes when we have a good day. So that's really good versus the top teams.
I know you guys, just to close this out, I know you guys trained super hard towards the end of the regular season. Now that you guys are safely into the summer split, are you going to take a bit of a break, or are you going to continue to scrim like NALCS playoff teams for more practice?
I think we will take a break 1 or 2 weeks, and then we'll see if we come back again. I have to go home to my family in Europe, so that's going to take some time.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and just start practicing again.
Cool. All right, well, Freeze, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on the win. We'll see you in June again. But now it's time to move on. Of course, big congrats to Renegades for earning that spot in the summer split. But of course, we will see Team Dragonites tomorrow for their final shot at the other open LCS spot. And don't worry, guys, we still have more league action coming up today. Our next best of 5 is coming up, Impulse versus Apex, right after this.
I'm tilted because I have to come back here tomorrow. That's what's tilting me.
Hey man, no, we can sweep, reverse sweep, and you don't need to come anymore.
We're seeing Alex go for the play because he's got a jungler coming around, but Alex is so close to dead. The last one to come through, Ninja lands the Q, but he will go down to the turret. It's a trade of kills. RF is going to be going down for this one. Jumps into the turret, still goes down.
Let's fight. Let's go in now.
Can do it. We gotta end.
Yeah, just end.
Kite back. It's fine. I gotta end.
That will be the 3-0. There's no chance for a comeback. Renegades are back into the North American LCS.